I'm with Tim League. You're in town promoting, is this the first film that you're distributing?
Yes, the very first one.
Four Lions. So tell me why you're an exhibitor. You're
Yes.
someone who has introduced the Alamo Drafthouse approach to exhibition in Austin and San Antonio. What other cities are you in, or are those in?
We're in Houston, and we're also in Winchester, Virginia, which is a suburb of Washington, D.C.
And what are your exhibition plans first, in terms of expanding your exhibition empire?
Well, I've told people in the past that I would really like to get something open in New York and LA, because I think that would be interesting for the brand. There's a lot that happens, obviously, in both cities, and if we have a presence there, I think we can do more interesting programming, build up additional relationships, and some of the special events that we do in Austin be a lot easier to accomplish in Los Angeles, honestly.
So do you move things around from city to city as you put certain programming packages together?
That's the idea. I mean, there's certain things that we've been incubating in Austin, and that's really where they live, is Austin, and we feel we put a certain amount of work into putting a program together or special shows together, and we can very easily take that show on the road and do it in other markets with just a little bit more, and that's one of our reasons why we want to expand a little bit.
So you have 9 theaters now?
Yes.
So is the, why go, all right, first explain the concept. I've been to Austin,
Sure.
I've been to your theater, it's both of them, you have 2, and it's really fun. But you tell it, how different it is.
Well, I like to think of ourselves as a movie theater first. So we pay a fair amount of attention to the technical details of presentation, but also we're a restaurant and a bar kind of mashed all together. But the reason why I lead with movie theater first is because we want to make sure people know that presentation comes first, and we try to keep a very cinephile-friendly environment at the Alamo Drafthouse. And then, on top of just showing movies and serving food and drinks, we also have a program of special events and alternative content, some that we seek out elsewhere, some that we produce ourselves.
And you actually function as a kind of maitre d'. I mean, I've seen you in action, and you're pretty much of a big man on campus in Austin. I mean, there's Fantastic Fest also. Talk about what that does for you every year.
Well, Fantastic Fest is the largest genre film festival in the United States. And by genre, I mean horror, science fiction, fantasy, kind of nerdy movies, if you will. But that's really where my heart lies. And we started it 6 years ago. It was an alliance between me and Harry Knowles from Native Cool News. And it's just grown into a bigger entity. And
how many people come to that now?
Well, it's a badge-driven festival, so it's probably a smaller number, but everybody's seeing probably upwards of 30, 40 movies. I think total number of butts in seats, as the technical term goes in the industry, I think it's probably around 25,000, but that's the core group of that. It's the same person over and over again. We sell about 2,000 badges. And then there's some people that just buy individual tickets or second-hand badges.
And you've debuted some pretty amazing movies there, including, as I recall, I sometimes get Fantastic Fest mixed up with Butnumathon,
right? Which
is Harry Knowles' thing.
That's his
separate
birthday
from you,
yeah.
Right? Which one was There Will Be Blood?
That was at Fantastic Fest, and that was kind of an interesting story how that all came together. Because before I was in the movie business, I was a petroleum engineer. Up in Bakersfield, just north of LA, and we happened to do a screening of Boogie Nights as an outdoor screening for our Rolling Road Show, which is another component of the theater, which is famous movies in famous places, and we take it on the road every summer. And so Paul Thomas Anderson came to that screening while he was in post-production on There Will Be Blood, and I was apparently the first person in the movie industry that not only cared about oil, but I was actually I really liked oil history, and so we hit it off and started talking about his in-depth research and how particular he was about the various details of early oil and how nobody seemed to care, and we kind of got all oil nerdy about it. And he also expressed how he really doesn't like the red carpet and the paparazzi vibe of big festivals, and we plotted a path to sneak it onto the scene through Fantastic Fest.
And I remember I was at Variety at the time, and we had somebody cover it, and it got a lot of attention. It was a big deal. And you've also you've been debuting other things as well. What were your big films this year?
The big films this year we did the U.S. premiere of Let Me In, and we did the U.S. premiere of Stone, the Ed Norton, Robert De Niro film. Then we also did 13 Assassins, the Mickey film that Magnolia picked up. And we did an event with Buried right before it came out theatrically, in part because we had this. I saw Buried at Sundance. I really loved it. We had an idea there for a crazy event, and so we executed this event the weekend before, and then did the screening with Ryan Reynolds in attendance. So the idea was to bury 4 girls alive underground and make them watch Buried from within a coffin. And
how did that go?
It was great, actually. It's one of those things where we had the idea at Sundance, and thought there's no conceivable way that any studio is going to allow us to do this, but we went ahead and pitched it. And
Lionsgate went
lo
for
and
it.
behold.
Yeah, well, they needed all the help they could get. I'm sort of I liked that movie a lot, but it did not do business.
Yeah, it didn't. I was really disappointed that it didn't.
I think people didn't want to be trapped in a coffin. I think it's that simple.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, and that's stupid.
Well, I think it's the concept is so scary to some people, and then it's so asinine to other people. So I remember the buzz going into Sundance about, you'll not believe this movie. Every single frame of the picture is from within a coffin, and people were saying, "Oh my God, how good could that be?"
He did it really well, and I thought
great.
Ryan Reynolds did it really well too. I thought he gave such a good performance that at one point I was like, he should get nominated for this, but that went away.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen this year, but I kind of agree. I thought it was a pretty incredible premise.
But the critics didn't all go for it either, so that's anyway.